Good evening, welcome back to Visionary Fragrances. Now, I know we're well and truly into winter now. It's cold, it's dark, we don't want to go outside, but I've got 5 fantastic winter fragrances to show you that are going to really warm you up and cut through that cold air. So stay tuned and let's go. Now, before we start the top 5, there's 2 honourable mentions I would like to include in this list. Now, the first one is Spicebomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. The reason why this is not in the top 5 is because whilst it's a fantastic winter fragrance and it's been widely talked about and discussed, I think that it's in everyone's top 5 and top 10 winter fragrance list. So I think this one is a bit of a given and it's slightly more obvious. So I wanted to include some fragrances that were perhaps not always spoken about by other reviewers and ones that I think you could get great value from in the winter. So a fantastic winter fragrance is Spicebomb Extreme if you wanted to buy it. The second honourable mention I would like to include is the new Sauvage. This is Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, whilst this is a brilliant cold weather fragrance and would work wonderfully in the winter, it's a spicy lavender fragrance, and they've really taken the fresh citrus and ambroxan DNA of the original EDT and EDP and really amped up the spiciness and the lavender and created this, which I think is really wonderful. But I can't really recommend it to you because this is the designer fragrance list. I wanted to have some fragrances in here that are really affordable, and this is £112 for 60ml, so I'm not going to recommend it. I think it's too expensive. But if you've got the money and you really enjoy it, then by all means wear it in the winter. It's going to work wonderfully. Right, let's start the list. In at number 5 is the new Azzaro, the Most Wanted. So this is a new 2021 release. It's a flanker to the original Wanted by Azzaro and then the Wanted by Night. I think this out of the 3 is my favourite. I really enjoy the Wanted by Night, but I think this one just overtakes it slightly. In this fragrance, you've got cardamom, toffee and amberwood. There's only 3 listed notes in this fragrance. I'm sure there's going to be more notes in it, but that seems to be what a lot of companies are doing nowadays, just listing the 3 main notes, which I think is a good idea. It's a really wonderfully blended, long-lasting fragrance. It's very sweet, so it's going to work really well in the winter and the cold weather. But if you don't like sweet fragrances so much, then this might not be for you. But all in all, I think this is a great release by Azzaro. And out of the last couple of years, the new releases that I've smelled have not been all that great. So I think they did a wonderful job to make this one really stand out. This is the Most Wanted. Now, this is unique. This is the number 4 spot, Paco Rabanne XS Night. Now, you've got some really interesting notes in here. You've got notes such as ginseng, ginger, you've got cacao, and you've got caramel. So it's very sweet. It's going to be dense, quite heavy. And I think this is a wonderful flanker to the original. I wasn't that impressed with the original XS, although it was fairly unique in its own way. I didn't think the performance was very good and it just wasn't that interesting, but they've really darkened this up, made it sweeter, richer and very, very long lasting. I actually wore this to work a couple of weeks ago and it really filled up my office because I went outside my office to go and see somebody, came back in and I could really smell it. So if you want a room filling fragrance, one that's very strong, then this is a really good option. And I think for the price, you can actually get a big 150ml bottle of this for around £70, I believe. It's a very good price and it's a unique fragrance, perfect for winter. In at number 3, Maison Margiela by the Fireplace. This is one of my favourite fragrances to wear in the winter. And what I love about this, it's so realistic. When you spray this on, you really get a by the fireplace vibe with it. And Maison Margiela do these replica fragrances extremely well. So if you read this is by the fireplace. It tells you where it is, kind of where the association has come from. And they really do smell so realistic. I've got a few from this line now and they smell so realistic. And I think that's wonderful perfumery and it's very intelligent perfumery as well. So when you first spray this on, it's not going to smell like kind of burning wood, like an actual, wood that's set on fire. It's going to smell like you're sat by a fireplace drinking hot chocolate and toasting marshmallows. It's very sweet. It's got kind of a roasted chestnut vibe to it and it's also smoky. So you do get the smoke that comes off the fireplace, mixed in with the beautiful toasted marshmallows and roasted chestnuts. So if you want something that's going to smell literally like being by a fireplace, perhaps bring back some memories of being on a kind of campfire somewhere, then go for this. This is number 3 and it's by the fireplace. Number 2, Stronger With You Intensely by Armani. Now for me, this is the best out of the Stronger With You line. I do own all 4 of them, I believe, and this for me is my favourite. It has some similarities to the by the fireplace that I just showed you, but it's not as photorealistic. It doesn't smell like being by the fireplace as such. It just has some similar notes. So you've got cinnamon, vanilla, and roasted chestnut, which is very interesting being in this fragrance. And I think you've got toffee in there as well. So it actually has some similarities to the Azzaro, the Most Wanted, I just realised. But yeah, very good for winter, very good longevity. And for the price of this, around £55 for 100ml, you can't go wrong. Wonderful for winter. Number 2, Stronger With You Intensely. And number 1 spot, my top pick for winter this year, Valentino Uomo Intense. And what I love about this is Valentino have taken the original formulation, Uomo, and actually made it an intense version. You see a lot of companies now adding words like intense, extreme to the end of a new fragrance and call it the same name like a new flanker just to sell more bottles when they smell nothing like the original. But this one is similar to the original, but it is a much more darkened, intense version. So I really like that. And for me, this is really sexy. It's a very, very sexy winter fragrance. They've used the note of iris very cleverly here. It's a really beautiful iris mixed with vanilla and leather. I think it's the leather which darkens this up, gives a kind of like a bad boy vibe, you know, like someone who wears a leather jacket, drinks kind of straight whiskey, you know. But no, very, very sexy fragrance, powerful, long-lasting, and a very good choice for winter. So this is Valentino Uomo Intense. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you've made it this far and you've got anything out of this video, please hit that subscribe button. It would really help me and help the channel grow. In the next few days, I'm going to be recording my favourite niche fragrances for winter, so look out for that. I will link it down in the description below once I've recorded it, so if you're interested in that, then please check that out. And I will see you in a few days with the next video. Thanks for joining me. Take care.